The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can see them in the top right-hand corner of the screen right there. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And one of the ways that we try to do the same on this show, of course, is to highlight our player profiles in our coaches' corners that we have here on YSN. We will continue to do that today with a player profile featured on today's episode. It is going to be a sophomore out of La Brea on the boys' side, Austin Rowe. And man, did he hit the scene with a just absolute cannon fire last year. Made an immediate impact on this La Brea team and is not having a sophomore slump one bit at all. One of the best shooters in the area, and he does a lot of great things. La Brea having a fantastic season. He's a big reason why, but they also have versatility, right? So they have Austin Rowe who can shoot the lights out, but then they have other players that balance that out and obviously make the Vikings really hard to defend. So we're gonna feature his player profile today, as well as, of course, recap last night's action, preview tonight's action, all that fun stuff. So without further ado, let's hop into the scoreboard at ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether it be, sitting at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. You don't want to look away from the action for too long. The YSN scoreboard is a easy way to get live, updated stats of your favorite teams, whether it be your friends or your rivals. The YSN scoreboard has it all across the YSN family. We have a hard-working team behind the scenes that makes sure that this scoreboard is as live updated as possible, so you don't have to wait until late at night for these final scores to come popping in. You'll be able to see, hey, into the first quarter, La Brea is up, 20-12, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really good tool. Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs is the sponsor from it, and it can be found at ysnlive.com/scores. Let's check in on the action from last night. Not too many games, but still regular season's getting wrapped up. West Branch was able to celebrate senior night with a big 42-23 win over Girard. They are 20-2 on the season. That'll end their regular season. West Branch will now look ahead to tournament time. They host Coventry on Wednesday. So you talk about this West Branch team, and I think next week when we have tournament time kind of on the brain locked in, we will bring the brackets back up. I still owe you a rundown of the boys bracket, of course. If you missed Monday and Tuesday and yesterday, which was Wrestling Wednesday, coming off of a sickness, so my lungs are not exactly 100%, and that is a lot to go over for the bracket breakdown. We will get to it for the boys, and we will talk more in depth about the girls' matchups. But when you look at West Branch's season as a whole, really incredible what they've been able to do, because they've upticked their season while the Shields had, honest reflection. I think you could say in the summer, and he made some calls to switch out some games and get some tougher teams on that schedule, because he knew that the roster he had a good chance of making a deep tournament run, and they wanted to take that seriously. So with that schedule, 20-2, it's remarkable. And those two games came in a row. So one little lull against Olmsted Falls, who's really, really, really good, by the way, a state runner-up last season, and then Canfield, who is a regional finalist last season. So those are the back-to-back losses that they had. Canfield was on a buzzer beater, by the way. So, when you have two little clunk losses in the middle of the season and you're perfect the rest of the way, I'd say pretty dang good season. They're striding right now. They're healthy. They're just looking really good. When people ask me who I think has a really good chance to make a deep tournament run, West Branch is the first team that really comes to mind on the girls' side. We go to another one that probably has a good chance. It's the 1 seed, as Hoban celebrates their senior night with a 34-20 win over Wadsworth. Remember, Division 1 tournament does start earlier than Divisions 2 through 4. So Hoban getting their tournament run starting on Saturday. They will host Barberton, the Magics, coming into Hoban on Saturday to start their sectional tournament run. Hoban ends the season with just one loss on the year on the girls' side. Lowville and Jackson Milton getting together last night, and it is Lowville getting the win, 55-47. Good on the Rockets. About Salem going into Springfield and really putting their best foot forward. You see this 56-33. They get the big win over Springfield. That's a big confidence boost for Salem, beating one of the top Division 4 teams in the area. Champion was able to beat Struthers 46-38. Want to give a congratulations to Champions Bella Meyer, who has already had a couple of milestones this year, but got another one last night. She is now the program's all-time leader in career steals. She got her 302nd steal last night against Struthers, which is continually growing. So 302 plus steals in a career for Bella Meyer, as she adds another milestone to her utility belt. Champion, of course, gets the win. Once again, 46-38 over Struthers. Champion is a really interesting first tournament game against Cardinal Mooney on Wednesday. That'll be in Champion. Ashtabula St. John, they went to Conneaut and Grand Valley, and fell to the Mustangs 52-39, the final score there. We have Edgewood going 19-1 on the year with a win over Berkshire. That final score for the Warriors was 48-35. This was one that was a Edgewood deficit after one quarter. It was a close game at halftime. A big third quarter was the difference for Edgewood in this game. So they are able to roll. A big matchup in Rootstown, as they are able to really flex their muscles a little bit. The 4 seed in Division 3 getting a big win towards the end of the season over Warren JFK, 62-29. Rovers get the win over the Eagles. And that's kind of it. I mean, we're wrapping up the regular season. These nights are getting a little bit later on the girls' side. Boys will start to do that next week as the boys start wrapping up their season, preparing for tournament time starting on the 27th. So a late night on the network last night, but a fun one nonetheless, as we have really good teams in action in all divisions. So that does it for our recap section. We're not going to take a commercial break because it's a little bit early in the show, so we're going to change up our format a little bit, and we're going to go right into our player profile feature. And today it is once again from LeBray. sophomore Austin Rowe. A great conversation with him. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Here is Austin Rowe from LeBray Boys Basketball. Hartwig with you. We have a LeBray basketball player profile. I am joined by sophomore Austin Rowe. Austin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
And it was a long time coming, man. You've been killing it in every sport you play for LeBray, whether it be golf in the fall, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter. Seems like you're just living on a high right now. My first question is just kind of going back to freshman year, especially basketball, since we're in basketball season. You came on, you made an immediate impact. What were some things that helped you be ready for varsity play as soon as you stepped on the floor?
I think just the work I put in that summer going into my freshman year was big. Obviously, the summer leagues we had really got me ready for it. And I think playing AAU helped too. So
obviously we know the numbers you put up last year, and you come into this year and now everyone knows it, right? Everyone in the conference knows who you are. You're not a secret anymore. You're on the scouting report. What's that been like this year, knowing that you're not sneaking up on people and everyone's going to be trying to stop you now? What's that been like for you so far?
yeah, well, obviously a lot of teams know. So it for some games harder for me to get shots, but most games I'm still getting my shots because of the great players I have around me can create shots for me, like Jay McGarry and Derek Wilson.
Yeah, you guys, obviously LeBray has a lot of talent on their team. That's why you're sitting where you are right now. What have been some of the conversations this season about what this team can do and the work that they've put in and how special LeBray can be?
Yeah, since the beginning of the season, Coach told us how special he knew we could be if we just, kept putting in the work in practice and just stayed focused for the games. And I think it's paid off.
Even though you're just a sophomore, because of what you mean to the team and because of the stats you put up, of course, and the success you've been having, you're kind of a leader on the floor. Like, people look to you to score, people look to you to make the right plays. There's a lot of responsibility put on you as just a sophomore. How have you been handling that aspect of just maybe a little bit more responsibilities than most sophomores have on on a basketball team?
Yeah, that was one of the big things is stepping up my leadership after the year I had last year, and I think I've done a good job of it. Me, Jay, and Derek really try to lead the team.
Has it ever been kind of daunting leading as a sophomore and maybe looking at some juniors and maybe people that are older than you and trying to kind of not assert your dominance per se, but just kind of lead those guys that are a little bit older than you?
Yeah, obviously some of the older guys don't have the experience from last year, so I think that's a big part of it, and I always try my best to lead them and help them.
You're obviously a shooter. You can't shoot without confidence. I want to talk about your confidence, where it comes from, where you got it, and how you keep it.
I've really always had the mindset that every shot's going in, and even if I miss one, I always think to myself the next one's going in, so I think that helps a lot.
Have you ever in your career, struggled with confidence? Have you had a moment where you had to regain it? And if you have, what were some keys that you had to kind of get back to that mindset that you're talking about?
Yeah, I've had shooting slumps before, but the main thing is just getting more shots up and focusing more on my form and, just having that mentality that every shot's going in.
When we talked to Coach Klein before the season, one of the things he said, hey, Austin's always got the green light, right? So when you have a coach that believes in you that much, that always going to give you that green light to go and do what you do, what's that mean to you as a shooter to have a coach that has confidence in you?
It means a lot. Obviously he sometimes can get mad if I shoot some bad shots, but he usually is fine with me taking the shots, and he has great confidence in me, so it's amazing.
Yeah, and then I'm sure your response is, Coach, no shot's a bad shot. Everything's going in, man. What are we doing? It's coaching legend that's been in LeBray for a long time. You got him a milestone win this year. What's it just mean to you to be coached by a guy like that has been there for so long, knows how to do things, and you can trust that when he says something, he automatically knows what he's talking about?
Yeah, it means a lot to have him as our coach, pushing us in practice every day, getting us ready for the games, and he really means a lot to us.
What is one part of your game do you think that he's helped you the most in growing so far in your first 2 years with him?
I think probably just like last year, getting me ready for the varsity level, getting more physical and playing better defense.
All right, basketball is in your family. Your mom is the head coach of the girls' team. You have a sister on the girls' team as well. What's that like living in a family that's all basketball all the time? You come home and you can talk to your mom about how the girls' game went. You can ask her about stuff that she saw from your game. Talk to your sister about how she's playing. What's that like living in a home that's all about basketball right now?
It's awesome, man. They always support me, and I always support them, and it's just a great connection that we have through the game of basketball.
Like you said, I've been to, your games. I've been to their games. You're always at your girls' games, and your mom and your sister are always at your games. That's not easy. It's not always easy. Practice schedules overlap and things like that. What's it mean to you that, you have family that puts other things aside for a minute and make sure that they're at as many of your stuff as possible? Because I know there are other families and out there that have the same setup that maybe don't get to as many games because it's just hard.
Yeah, it's awesome to have them supporting me at every game, no matter how far the drive is. I know how hard they work for the girls' team, and it just means a lot that they're at every game.
We have to ask this when there's siblings that play the same sport. How much competitiveness is there between you and Riley?
There's a lot. When she makes more threes than I do in a game or gets more rebounds, she always tries to let me know about it.
She lets you know, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that you have on your goal list. You're just a sophomore. You have so many things left to do in your high school career still. What are some of the main goals that you have right now personally that you're trying to check off your list?
The main goal is probably just to win a district final. That's been the goal since the beginning of the season, to do that and win the conference like we did last year. And for me, I'd say just getting better each and every year.
Last year you did win the conference, but you also had to share it with two other teams. I mean, what was the conversations like that this year where, hey, we want to make sure that we're taking care of business and we don't share this year?
Yeah, that's a big thing. We want to win it outright. We have a big game against Campbell on Tuesday. That is pretty much for the conference, basically. So that's a big one.
We've been in that LeBray gym plenty of times. It's one of those ones where you walk in and you feel the history. The boys team has been to state before. What makes LeBray feel like home to you when you walk inside that gym?
Probably just, all the coaches have been there for a long time, and I've grown up in that gym. So it means a lot to be playing for LeBray.
All right, so obviously your favorite place to play is at home, but talk about some of the other places you go. What's your favorite road venue to go to? What's your favorite road trip?
I'd say probably Campbell. They have a really cool gym. Probably the coolest gym I've played in ever. So that's probably my favorite. And then I also like Champions Gym. I usually play well there. So
Yeah, you go where the places that you shoot well. That's a smart place. Campbell's tough because their fans are right on top of you. The way they have that set up, and it's such an old gym that the sound in there really echoes. Which is in our next question. You go into a lot of hostile environments as a shooter, and I'm sure there's a lot of student sections and fan bases that do whatever they can to try to distract you from your game. What's it like for you to go into a road venue and to be able to play the villain a little bit?
Well, I usually just try to never let the crowd get to me and always just focus on my game. And I try to just block that noise out. And I think that helps a lot.
What is your game day routine? What are some things that you stick to get yourself in that right mindset before a game starts?
I usually just go to school, focus on school, come home, take like a 30-minute nap, and then get ready for the game.
Is it harder or easier for you to get through a school day when it's game day?
I'd say harder because you're just waiting for that all day, and it's harder to focus on school when you have a game the same night.
When you're at the gym, everyone has their pregame playlist that they like to listen to, things that get them fired up. What's yours look like?
I really like country music, but I usually just listen to clean rap like Drake.
When you're telling the team like, hey, let's play some country music for the hype, like pregame, do you get any people that are giving you a hard time for that?
Not really. We usually don't listen to country music, but that's my favorite type of music. I really like Zach Bryan.
Yeah, I was gonna go into what's your favorite country singer, but you just answered that, so put
Zach
that one
Bryan,
right down.
Morgan
Do,
Wallen.
do you have a song, no matter what the situation is, no matter what kind of mood you're in, can always get you up and get you ready?
Not really. It's just
Mhm.
listening to the same type of music gets me ready. Not really a certain song.
All right, now I want to talk about your warm up routine too, because shooters have to do the very routine things and they have to make sure their muscle memory is intact. And I'm sure you go to every gym and you find the lines and you try to feel where you are on the floor. What's your routine in warm ups to make sure that shooting wise you're in the right set?
I usually stretch a little bit before I get on the court, and then I do a couple form shots, then get in the layup lines, and then when the JVs go in the locker room, I do some more form shooting to get ready.
All right, let's talk about post game. Big celebration, big win. You get a lot of those. What's your favorite post game meal after a big win?
Probably pizza. That's usually what I get is pizza.
What's the go to pizza? What are the toppings? What are we getting?
I'm really just a pepperoni guy. I like Domino's and Ionazone's Champion.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. You can go on a road trip, win against champion, and then get their own pizza too. Um, when you think of things that you think that you've grown the most in from freshman to sophomore year, where do you think you've grown the most?
I think I've grown the most in handling the physicality and not turning the ball over as much. Obviously, last year I got bumped around a little bit, but I think I've improved on that this year.
We've touched on your multiple sport, athlete that you are and the way that you balance so many things. My question to you is like, what's it like to balance everything? You're going right into baseball season after basketball is done. You golf in the fall. I'm sure you have a great grades that you have to keep up as well in this classroom. Got a social life you have to keep up. What's it like to juggle all that? And what are some things that you do personally to make sure that you're able to do it?
I'd say just going to bed on time, getting a good night's sleep, and then just focusing on one thing at a time. Focus on school, then focus on the practice, whatever sport I'm in, and yeah, I think that helps a lot.
What are some of your favorite subjects in school?
I've always loved math. That's definitely been my favorite. So probably math. I
I
don't
feel
really
like
have any other ones.
basketball more than any other sport for one reason or the next. We always have a lot of people that love math and basketball. When you think of some of the hardest, achievements or I should say assignments that you've had in school so far, ones that you've had to put a lot of work into, what kind of things come to mind?
Uh, I don't really know. I'd say just yeah, I don't know.
When you think of um, things that you want to do after high school, I know you're just a sophomore. I know you're probably trying to put that in the back of your mind. But do you have any careers that you're starting to lean towards, or things that you think you're ultra interested in, and jobs that you want to go into?
Yeah, that's the tough thing is what sport I want to play in college. I
Mhm.
really like basketball, but I also really love baseball, and I still haven't decided between the two. So it's going to be a tough decision.
The good thing is you have time. And one of the things that I'm going to ask next is when you're looking at what sport you want to choose and where you want to go, what kind of things weigh in that decision on, especially the where? I mean, when you're thinking about colleges you want to go to, have you thought about like if you want to travel, if you want to stay close to home, what kind of program you're looking for, things like that?
I've thought of a lot of different things. You know, staying close to home. You could go to like a small college, D3 maybe, and play baseball and basketball. That was one of my thoughts. But yeah, I haven't really thought about like a location of where I wanted to go or anything like that.
No matter what you decide, where you decide to go, you're going to be fulfilling a dream to be playing at the next level at whatever sport you decide to do. Let's fast forward a little bit to when you're signing on that dotted line, wherever you decide to go in the future, and you make that dream a reality. You know yourself better than anybody. What do you think that moment's going to be like for you?
It's gonna mean the world to me. All the work I've put in since I was a little kid is gonna finally be paying off, hopefully, and it will just mean everything.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot with your family and friends. When you make that decision, when you commit somewhere, who's going to be the first person you have to call and tell, like, hey, I'm going to this place?
Probably my parents, my mom and my dad, and then my sister.
Who do you think would answer your call first, your mom or your dad? I'm going to put you on the spot there too. Like if you call them both, who do you think is more likely to answer on the first call?
Definitely my mom. My dad's usually not on his phone, so.
I love it. I love the love. All right. Before we let you go, we do this with every player profile. We want to give you the chance to take the light off of you for a second and shine it on your support system, the people that are in your life, the people that kind of get you to where you're going. So I want you to take as much time as you want to give your shout outs and to thank the people that support you.
First, I just want to thank God for everything he's done for me. Obviously, none of this would be possible without him, so all glory and praise to him. Next, I want to thank my family and my friends for supporting me through every game. And then all my coaches, throughout every coach I've had throughout my life has always made an impact on me. So, yeah.
Austin, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know it was a long time coming. We're proud to get you finally on board with the player profile. We're going to have plenty more because you play every sport and you're going to be here for another 2 years. So we wish you the best of luck the rest of this season. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Anthony Hartwig with you. We have a LeBray basketball player. Sorry about that. That was user error. No technical glitches. We actually haven't had a technical glitch on Running Point in a long time. Knocking on wood for that one. But that was Austin Rowe from LeBray, boys basketball. Sophomore standout, shooter, deadly shooter from the perimeter. Can spot you up from anywhere. A really good ball handler. I think that's underrated in his game. He's got size. He's got everything you want if you're a college out there looking for him going into his junior year. We talked about that, the prospects of playing in college, and I made him try to pick one person that he would call first if he decided to commit somewhere. That was a fun conversation, Hey, Dad's never on his phone, so we're gonna throw him under the bus a little bit. Yeah, I like it when student athletes poke a little fun at their family. It's all in good fun. It's all in love. But hey, you know what? Dad's not on the phone a lot, so I'm gonna call Mom first. I love it. We're gonna take a commercial break, and when we get back, we'll have more Running Point on ysnlive.com.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You heard from them in that commercial break. I am going to go ahead and put their logo back up in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. Make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we thank Greenwood for their sponsorship of not just Running Point, but everything that we're able to do at YSN. Big news coming out of the OHSAA this morning as their board met up, and they have unanimously approved a new formula. This is how the OHSAA press release words it. A new formula to determine how many divisions will be offered for postseason tournaments in General Sports Regulation 17. This will result in changes in girls and boys soccer. They'll have 5 divisions: girls volleyball, girls and boys basketball. Softball and baseball will have 7. In those sports, divisions 1 and 2 will only include 64 schools, and then after divisions 2, in those sports, it will be trying to evenly distribute them as evenly as possible. So that's what's going on now. We are going to officially, I think this is going to implement next calendar school year. We're going to see more divisions now in every sport. There's 7 in football. There's going to be 7 in everything except what boys and girls soccer, I think it said. Yeah, boys and girls soccer is going to have 5. And then all the other ancillary sports, the girls volleyball, the boys and girls basketball, softball, and baseball, they're all going to have 7. So more divisions. Now, I don't know how this will affect some of the other sports like golf, bowling, swimming, wrestling, etc., etc. But the sports that we know the effects of are going to see bigger divisions. And when we talk about this, I think there are pros and there are cons. I think you have to have this discussion. Like, we can't be black and white here. It's not all good. It's not all bad. One of the things that I think is really good is it is going to lead to a little bit more competitiveness in divisions. We're not going to see a really small Division 4 team have to go up against a much larger Division 4 team that's right on that borderline of being Division 4, Division 3, just for example. And I think mainly that's where it kind of came into effect. I think they thought that there were just too many times where a team that was on one end of the spectrum just not able to fairly compete with teams on the top end of that spectrum. I know Canfield was a big example of this on the girls' side a couple of years ago, being the smallest Division I team in the state, but being there in Division I and having to compete against some really large schools and not being able to really gauge where they were at. Now they're a really big Division II team, though, to be fair. And I think that's what something you have to understand too. Like, this is going to affect, the middle of the pack teams that, maybe they're in the middle of Division III, but now they're going to be a big Division IV team. And they're going to be one, or maybe they're the other way around where they were a, middle of the pack Division III team. Now they're going to be a really small Division II team. So while we made this decision and we are excited for the teams on the opposite ends of the spectrum to have a little bit more balance, I don't want to lose the fact that it will also affect the middle of the pack teams that are now going to be, maybe a little bit smaller compared to who they have to face, or a little bit bigger too. So let's not forget that this affects everybody, not just the teams at the opposite ends of the big and small spectrums of the divisions. Some of the cons I see, though, definitely one, I really feel like 4 state champions, in most of these schools, it was like that felt right. And now we're going to have 7 state championships. 7 different teams win a state championship. You start to wonder, honestly, is that watered down? Do we need that? I don't. That conversation can definitely be had. I think there's some legitimacy in just trying to make things easier, a little bit. Kentucky has 1 state championship across the state. I don't want to do that, but I'm just trying to start the differences here. I don't know if we needed 7, 7 different state championships, and especially in some of these sports. Like, I'm thinking softball, like 4 seemed plenty for softball. Those 4 teams were the best 4 teams in the state. And now we're going to say, well, you know what? There are some other good teams, and they were nice. They weren't state championship level, but let's make it so they can try to win a state championship too. Let's soften the blow a little bit so everyone can have a little bit more of a shake to go win a state championship. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be elite in a division anymore. You just be really, really good, and you can go win Division 7 or Division 6 or whatever it may be. And I think that is a conversation to be had, to be honest. I love the fact that it's going to be more competitive for teams, and we're going to have a lot better districts. I think the district level is going to be much better. But when I'm talking like state level, does it water down the state tournament a little bit? It does. It really does. I firmly agree with people that have that sentiment, that it's kind of like watering down a state championship by saying there's going to be more and more and more. Football, I get it. I get it. It's that kind of sport. But like, I use softball as an example, but I think you could also use volleyball as a really good example for the state tournament. The best 4 teams in the state, hands down, win those state championships, and I think that's really good enough. Softball, baseball, I think are pretty much the same way. Now, when you look at the other thing that gotta be mentioned because it's most likely true, everyone wants to pat the OHSA on the back and say, good job. You made it more competitive. You've answered our gripes a little bit, but they get money now for 7 different state tournaments, right? So is this a little bit of a cash multiplier for the OHSA? Yeah, it probably is. Let's be real. There's a reason I always tell people there's a reason their logo is green, right? So yeah, they're going to make that business decision too. So this is a business. They're going to make a decision that makes them a little bit more money too. Be aware of that when you're having this discussion. Don't think that the motives are purely pure in the OHSA. Not saying that it's wrong to go out and make money. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm not trying to share an opinion on multiplying the cash flow for the OHSA, because I do think this is a good idea, and I do think that it benefits a lot of people, a lot of student athletes. But it also It's a cash multiplier. So call it what it is. Like you have to be able to look in the mirror a little bit and say, hey, this is also just for the money a little bit. Let's be real. Now, I am interested to see how this will affect state tournament sites, because you're going to have a lot more games now to host. And I really feel like in these sports, you're not going to be able to have one state tournament at Wright State, Dayton, Akron, Firestone Stadium, et cetera anymore, because now instead of going down there for a weekend and playing 4 semifinals, 4 division semifinals, so that's 8 games for the semifinals, and then 4 championships, so 12 games in a weekend. You have to do that for 7 divisions. So now 7 divisions all get semifinals. That's 14 semifinals, and then so that's 21 games now you would have to host in one spot. Don't know the logistics of that. Don't know if that'll stick up. What I imagine might happen, you might gonna see a neutral site in the semifinals that's not the site for the state championship. So you might see 2 different spots for the 2 different semifinals now, which from a student athlete and school and all that standpoint, kind of good, because you're probably going to get a little bit more of a regional site for a state semifinal and then travel for your state championship. But I'll tell you, from a media perspective, we're gonna have to find a way to cover more state championship games, more state semifinals, be at more places. Media right now, media has to be a little bit of a panic mode, because it makes travel and coverage a little bit harder when you're talking about 7 different places, 7 different divisions now. Everything's going to be the monster that trying to get football squared away is too. So pros and cons there. Just wanted to bring that up. I'm sure DJ will have more to say on the Power Hour, because he loves talking about stuff like this. So I'm sure you'll hear more about this from DJ in the next episode of the Power Hour as well. I just wanted to bring it up and say that it happened and kind of put my staple on it, my opinion on it. I think overall it's a good thing. There are things that come with it. That was my point. I think overall, though, I think it's more good than bad. But there are things that come with it. There are conversations to be had. There are not so good things that come out of it. Let's see what we have some time. I think we have some time. Why don't we go and hear from Ty Bartell, who did a lot of really good Louisville interviews this weekend. We have re-signed Louisville as a part of the Ysn family. They are back home where they belong. And we were able to jump on some player profiles really quickly. Ty Bartell did a great job scheduling them and getting them. So why don't we play one of those while we run out the show? Hayden Nigro from Louisville boys basketball, maybe one of the best players in the Ysn family. Glad to have him back. Ty Bartell had a great conversation with him. Let's hear from it. If I can find the mouse, user error today, I'll tell you what. It's one of those days. There it is. Got it. All right, here's Hayden Nigro from Louisville.
Ty Bartell in with an edition of Player Profile as we head into Louisville with the Leopards. One of the Leopards' best, Hayden Nigro, one of the scoring leaders over there at Louisville. Just under 20 points a game, 19.5 you're averaging this season. Hayden, how are we doing this year?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. You're not doing too bad this year as well, young man. Let's talk about the success you've been having too, and just being your scoring prowess this season. It seems like no matter where you are on the floor, you're able to find your shot too. You're able to create your own shot, but you're also able to do it with this very good team and great teammates that you have too. Talk about the year you're having too. What do you attribute your success to?
Yeah, senior year, obviously my last year. I put a lot of work into it. I am having a good year, but I couldn't do it without these guys around me. I have a great team. I have great players around me, and I couldn't do it without them.
Talk about your progression too, because Coach Siegfried talked about, you as a sophomore too, and being a part of that team that had that run 2 years ago, and you guys wanting more, and the work you guys have put into this season. What'd you take away from that sophomore season, and what did it kind of inspire you to kind of build within yourself up to your senior year?
Yeah, sophomore year was a great one. As you know, we went pretty far, lost to St. V. But I learned a lot that off season. I learned I needed to work on a lot of things in my game. And after that, I mean, even though we lost in the regional final, you learn a lot playing a team like that. And just like the chemistry that we have on this team, just getting together and knowing that we can get back there at some point.
How much work goes into the off season to have the type of runs and the type of regular seasons against the competition you guys are having right now?
It takes a lot. I would say the whole off season. I don't think we have too much players on this team that don't play another sport. I feel like like our starting five, we're all just basketball guys. So the whole off season, we're together working on what we need to, and that's why our chemistry is so good because we're always together.
You mentioned it being your senior year too, and you got to kind of take on that leadership role too. Throughout the course of this regular season, what have you learned about yourself most as a leader? What kind of leader you are?
Yeah, I learned a lot. Being the only senior, there's no really other seniors to be leaders, so I got to be the only one. We had a great senior class last year, so just trying to fill in their shoes and just be a great leader and a role model for these younger kids.
You talk about the kind of packed houses that you're getting. I know this is standing room only in Louisville too. When you talk about being that kind of voice that's going to be heard in the huddle for those type of games too, how do you kind of manage the excitement of the younger guys when they see those type of big crowds too, to kind of lock them into those games?
Yeah, well, it definitely gives you goosebumps. They're definitely timid to go in those games when their crowds are huge. Last game we had to have a live stream in the cafeteria because there wasn't enough seats. But just to tell them, like, just act like they're not there. Just block out the noise and just play your game, and they should be all right.
When you talk about having these type of crowds too and this type of support, what kind of juice does that give you guys going into these home games? I know you guys are undefeated, and that's probably with pretty good reason with the energy the crowd brings. What's it like playing in front of that home crowd, man?
Oh, it's insane. I feel like, I don't feel like we would be undefeated without them. They bring great energy. You see the dunks that I throw to BG or Bo throws to BG. Some of the threes Bo hits. It's just the crowd's always on their feet. And it brings great energy to us.
You talk about the competition that you guys have brought in and been able to defeat inside of Louisville's high school gym. When you talk about the kind of competition over the years too, and how you guys have continuously gotten better, where is your confidence level at against these opponents? Because it felt like maybe in years prior, some of those opponents seemed daunting to maybe some Leopards, but now it seems like you guys are just we don't care who you are. We're gonna give you our best, and we think we can beat anybody. Where's the confidence level with not only yourself but this entire team this year?
Yeah, no, coming in this season, we knew we had a lot of guys and we knew what we could do. Like you said a couple years ago, if we ever try to schedule Hope, and it would be like once in a lifetime opportunity. But we knew what we had on this team coming into this year, and we knew what we could get done.
Coach Siegfried talks a lot about the program too, and how that means a lot to this team too. In your words too, talk about what the program means and what does this Leopard program mean to you?
It's bigger than basketball, like he always says. This team is like full of my brothers. It's going to be friendships out of this after I graduate, and just carrying on friendships other than basketball. Like, it's a basketball team, but we're friends even off the court.
You're talking about the senior chapter of this basketball book, but I'm kind of curious where the first chapter of basketball started for Hayden Agro. Where did you first find yourself picking up the ball, kind of falling in love with the sport of basketball? When did you first get involved? Some of the earliest memories you have?
It was my early childhood. One of my birthdays, my mom got me one of those like little tyke hoops that we put in my basement, and ever since then I've been always like carrying basketballs around. She used to say that I used to have like 8 basketballs in my crib where I wouldn't be able to sleep.
You have a favorite college team, favorite professional team?
Unfortunately, I don't. I really just like to watch all the games. Like, if there's a real competitive game on, like top C teams, I usually watch them. And then March Madness is my favorite to watch.
Do you have a player that you've enjoyed watching the most, or maybe some players that you've tried kind of emulating, or kind of seeing their moves and try to see if you can emulate those?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been a LeBron fan since I could remember. I have all of his jerseys since Cavs, Heats, Lakers. I've been a huge LeBron fan my whole life. So if I had to pick a favorite player, I still would pick the GOAT.
You talk about that too, and LeBron, a very good all-around player, and I think you in your own right too. I mean, looking at your stats, you kind of fill up the box score in multiple categories too, not just points per game. But you talk about that too. Where do you walk that fine line of knowing when you need to be the one that kind of takes the reins of I need to shoot the ball, I need to score the ball, and maybe need to step back, be that team player, pass the ball, and do the other things, defense, rebounds.
Yeah, no, it comes real easy on this team. I don't feel like I ever had to like force a shot. We have 5 guys on the court at once that can score the ball, and when it gets to me, I see a lane, I take it. But if I don't, I swing it. I know my guys will make the shot, and I trust the ball.
What do you guys kind of do to build that chemistry? Because, I mean, it can't just be you guys all show up on the court and you guys have this chemistry, right? What's the chemistry building like outside of the basketball parameters?
No, we always have team meals the day before games. So we'll go out to maybe somebody's house or a restaurant. We're always together. And then after every game, we're almost together. Like even off the court, we're always hanging out. And all these guys are my brothers. So we're always with each other.
Over the course of your basketball career, we talked about some of your earliest memories. What have been some of your best memories in the sport of basketball?
I would have to say my freshman year coming in, just the bond I got with those seniors, and they took me under their wings. And then going up to sophomore year, that run we had, it was amazing. Just how long we were playing basketball, and then the town behind us. I mean, great energy they brought. We couldn't have done it without them. And then now it's my senior year. Hopefully going out with a bang.
What were some of the goals you set in your freshman year, and have you accomplished them yet?
Going in my freshman year, one of my biggest goals was start varsity as a freshman, and I did that. I feel like it was halfway through the season, so that was a big accomplishment. And then just working on my craft, just getting better every day. And once I leave here, just know I left everything on the court.
You talk about leaving there too. What's the future plans look like for Hayden Agro?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not really trying to focus on that right now. I don't want to get distracted. I just want to focus on this team right now and see how far we can go.
You talk about that, and I know that's been a huge goal for this Leopards program for quite some time, and I'm all about staying present and staying in the moment, so I'm all for that. Yeah. You talk about staying in the moment, this upcoming tournament draw, which is quite literally in an hour, I think, from now. Let's talk about this upcoming tournament and just the focus you have, the kind of run you guys are wanting to have. I know you guys have a lot of attention, not just in the state, but like Coach said, it nationally now. So having all this kind of attention, managing that going into this tournament run, how do you guys accomplish your goals? What's it going to take to make a deep tournament run?
Yeah, like I said, we know what we have on this team. We know what we bring to the table, but just coming into practice every day and knowing that there's still room to improve. And it's a tournament. I mean, anyone can go down. Even the biggest seeds sometimes go down. So never taking opponent for granted, and even if they're the worst seed or the best seed, just play them as it is, and to see how far we can go.
Talking about it being your senior year too, where I mean you're staying present in the moment now, but games are starting to run out that you're going to have in front of that Leopard crowd too. Staying in the moment, are you taking those moments to kind of just appreciate the final moments you get to have donning the Leopard uniform in front of that home crowd?
Yeah, no, I realized this whole year that this is my last year going on this court. So just trying to leave everything on the court as I can. And it's been great. These 4 years has been great. The crowd has been insane. And I couldn't ask for a better group of guys around me these 4 years.
So as kind of like a little time capsule for all the seniors next year, if they want to come back, watch this interview and know what their senior advice was from a year ago, what's some advice that you want to leave these younger players as the senior on this team too, for them to see the growth and for them to see the success that you've had?
Yeah, don't take it for granted. I feel like my freshman year was like maybe a week ago. So it flies by, and just take every time. Don't take it for granted and just have fun.
Well, Hayden, I know you guys have been having quite some fun this season too. You guys continue to dominate some pretty big teams and some tough competition. We're wishing you the best of the luck on your tournament run. Good luck to the Leopards. And hey, we're going to be there for some of those games as well. And we're glad to have you as part of the YSN family once again.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. This has been an edition of Player Profile with the scoring leader at Louisville, Hayden Agro.
Good buddy Ty Bartell doing some great work. He has a couple of more player profiles from Louisville. We have just posted the latest one today, so make sure to go out to ysnlive.com and check those out as well. Hayden Nigro, Bo Siegfried, and Braden Gross were the three that we got. Braden's just went up this morning, so make sure to go check those out for player profile features of Louisville boys basketball. That probably going to be going on a pretty deep tournament run if I had to put my fair share of opinion down on that. They are a really great boys basketball team. All right, let's go into the scoreboard. Check out what we have going on tonight. Another light night of basketball, but still basketball nonetheless. Let's pull it up and see what we got going on. Thursday, February 15th, we have girls basketball. Hubbard at Mooney tonight. Aquinas taking on Wyndham. Lakeside goes to Pymatuning Valley. We have Cleveland Shaw going to Orange. LeBray going to Badger. That'll be a fun one. I think that'll be the game of the night, honestly. And Garrettsville Garfield goes to Bristol. One boys basketball game tonight. Harvey going to Edgewood. And we do have senior night from South Range Wrestling as well. So want to shout that out. That is happening tonight. South Range Wrestling honoring their seniors one last time at home. Let's go out to what announcers will be out tonight real quick so you know what will be on the network. All games can be found at ysnlive.com/live. And on the network tonight, we have Cardinal Mooney and Hubbard. Zach Svensson going to be there covering that. Matt Marr will be in Wyndham as the Bombers welcome in St. Thomas Aquinas. The school students broadcasters will be covering Orange as they welcome in Shaw. And Bill Shea will be at Badger as they welcome in LeBray. Boys basketball game, Edgewood against Harvey, will be covered by Larry Jennings. So all of that can be found at ysnlive.com/live. Enjoy the evening of basketball, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow on Friday, 1 to 2, talk about more on Running Point. Brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet.